War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we sit down, we get together, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We appreciate you being here with us just to hang out and talk about something that you love about being an Auburn Tigers fan, something within that whole world, that spectrum. We're going to talk about it here on our Wednesday night live streams. As is the case for every Wednesday night, we come to the table with a prepared topic that we might start off with, we might hit a lot on, but really tonight is just about you, the Auburn family, talking with me sharing my thoughts, you sharing yours. Maybe you even call in tonight. We will give you the instructions for that in just a minute here if you want to take advantage of that. But that's what's on the table for tonight for our roughly an hour show. We're just going to kind of shoot the breeze a little bit and just talk about what you want to talk about. Football, basketball, Auburn food, Auburn ice hockey, maybe. All of that is fair game tonight on this live stream. A couple of things for you as we get started on the stream. Make sure if you haven't, please do make sure you smash that like button. It does help the stream out. And right now in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, make sure you post right now where you're watching from, city, state, international, with a War Eagle. Let me know who's here taking part in our show tonight. So that is what we're going to do, and that is how we get things started on the show tonight. Some funny comments already coming through on here. Corey already checking in. Good to see you, Corey. War Eagle from Hoover. Yes, and apparently I'm being blamed for the war in Ukraine. Yes. Kyle goes 1 week away and it all breaks loose. Yes, it does seem that way, right? The funny thing about that, Neil, is we always say here, it feels like news breaks for Auburn when we go live here. It seemed to always be the case. I think Malzahn got fired about the time I was ending one of my live streams. Someone got hired. It never fails. You set these times out to do these shows, to post these videos, these podcasts, and the second you do it, it's like something else breaks, especially this offseason, which has been absolutely crazy. Just really, really nuts tonight. A couple of housekeeping things real quick. We will go live after the basketball game, and we'll get you out of here in enough time to be done to get you set up for that basketball game in just a little bit. It starts in about 55 minutes from now. But we will be going live after that. So if you're watching the replay, make sure you come back and watch that one live or that one on the replay as well. We'll break down the game and talk about a little bit of that there. War Eagle from the bunker, he says. Where I don't want to know where your bunker is, actually. Actually, I do want to know where your bunker is because I live somewhat close to you. And if I need somewhere to hide, maybe I can come stay in the bunker with you. I don't know. Devin, yes, baseball is at the moment. So here's the struggle that we have this time of year. Baseball and softball basically provide endless amount of entertainment opportunities for Auburn fans. And it just never, it stops. So I know that we're going to be competing a lot in some of our live streams with games and stuff like that. I thought we'd run into a little bit of that problem like tonight with basketball this season, but we've kind of worked our way around that whole thing so far this season. There we go. We got a lot of our regular crew popping in now. Dusty's here. Big shout out to, and John, hello to you, sir. Big shout out to Dusty, who joined me on a podcast episode, went out today, where we talked a little bit about some Auburn ice hockey. For those of you that have been asking for it, you ask, most of the time you receive. I can't say yes to everything, but it did happen. And a lot of that is thanks to Dusty for having the energy and the drive and the interest in pulling something like that off. So we were able to talk about it a little bit. Talk about these coaches that I know nothing about. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything either. I figured we could just really talk about it. Do we have a troll here already? Let's see here. Cocky Twan. Awful name. I wish my team played yours again. Go Gamecocks. I take that back. Your team is horrible. All right. I think a few other stats out there will say much differently. Here's the difference is I'm actually going to be respectful of your team, Mr. Twan. Frank Martin is an outstanding basketball coach, and I respect the heck out of him. And I think he would be pretty remiss to know that some of his fans are being a little on social media, especially behind, not their real names and stuff like that. So yes, apparently it is a troll, but hey, we'll let them do what they want to do. Where can I watch the BB game? See, here's the problem, John. You got to specify basketball or baseball now because they're both going on tonight and they're both going on this part of the season. Baseball, I don't know that's on TV. There are because there's so many of them. It's hard to broadcast all the collegiate baseball games, but you'll see a few of the SEC ones out there. Basketball tonight, I believe. Quote me if I'm wrong, guys. I think that's SEC Network. Feels like every time we're at 9 o'clock, it's on the SEC Network. I think that's where it's at. I turned the TV on and there it is. I've got the little Hulu live thing set up, so it just shows me what I want to see here. Football. Okay. Oh, I got you. Well, you did beat us in football, so congratulations. It says not a football stream. Well, unfortunately, Dusty, this is an everything stream because we're an everything school. We don't ride or die on one program's failures or success, but that is what it is. Baseball is SEC Network Plus and basketball SEC Network. I had the basketball right. That's the good thing about SEC Network Plus is that it gives you an opportunity to see a lot of these other sports that don't get a lot of attention. My hope is that they keep expanding it and have like everything have the option of being on TV, even if it's not SEC Network Plus. Like you can, if you're at a certain level, you can get this stream to it or something like that, because most people aren't aware that those stations for those particular college teams are run on campus. And there's like a collegiate staff there that kind of runs it. Obviously not just college students, but they help out a lot. They're getting a lot of internships up. So the manpower is there to run it. It's just a matter of if they do it or not. Neil, you're going to get it started tonight, buddy. You're going to get it started tonight. Wondering who's going to win that one. Let's see here. Hopefully, KD will get out of his shooting slump, and we need him for the SEC and NCAA tournament. He did pretty well last game, right? I know that doesn't negate a slump or make things better overall, but I think there's a lot of different areas where Auburn can improve, not just with one specific player. But you would like to see everybody hitting their stride this time of year and starting to get out of any slumps that they're in. We'll find out in about 3 hours' time, right? The game starts in 45 minutes, roughly 2-hour game. We'll know about that time when we're doing our post-game live stream, how everything went out at that point. Mr. Twan says, I'm leaving you guys talking about basketball. I'm gone. Can't talk about that. Well, we talk about everything on this stream tonight, but hey, it must be hard to talk about something that's not going well for you. Anyway, I agree, Dusty. They did get us 2 years in a row, so there are bragging rights to be had, but it's how you handle the bragging rights, I love the radio announcers for baseball. Now, remember, Andy will come back to be part of the broadcast team once he doesn't have the double obligations of basketball and baseball and all that kind of stuff. Dusty wants us to talk about Ike Hilliard, and that was our opening topic for this, which we haven't even started on yet. So the football staff is complete. And I guess my biggest question for everybody, I think you've already shared this a little bit, how you feel about it. Most of you don't know a lot about them. I don't know a lot about Ike Hilliard. From what I'm seeing, there's people even kind of starting to throw out, is this a home run hire? The conventional wisdom was that Trevon Reed deserved or should have been given that slot and to be retained on staff, but he will still be retained on staff. And, not to say that he hasn't earned that coaching position spot, but I think he's just now starting to cut his teeth in the coaching realm. So he's probably going to need a little bit more time for a coach. It gives him an actual positional coaching job. But we'll see. Are they looking for a quarterback coach, or are they just sticking with Coach K for that too? Last I heard, Corey, is that Coach Keesaw and Coach Harsin were going to share the quarterback coaching job, role. So it doesn't sound like, I don't even know if they're going to list Keesaw as the quarterback coach. And, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but that feels like a fairly modern thing where we have quarterback coaches, because to me, it was always assumed that the offensive coordinator was the quarterback coach. You see a lot of the times defensive coordinators can have a speciality, like obviously Derek Mason, former DC here was defensive backs. Then you've got others that are traditionally linebacker coaches. You see a lot with defensive coordinators, sometimes defensive linemen. But yeah, I always assumed that it was the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator were the same thing. And it's not till recently that I really started noticing we start putting the label of quarterback coach. I think that came with the advent of the NFL, of the passing game coordinator and all that kind of stuff. There's just the amount of titles that are created for coaches now just to retain them for the sake of, being able to say we gave you a promotion is crazy to me sometimes. Neil's very excited about Hilliard. So can you tell me why you are? And I'm not saying I shouldn't be either. Here's what I'm excited about. The staff is complete. It's as simple as the title of this, this live stream here. It's finally complete for now. Knock on wood. I don't have any, any thoughts about it not being complete for a long period of time. But, I always kind of take things with a grain of salt at this point. Forgot to do this a little bit earlier, so let me go ahead and open it up now. If you'd like to call into the show, that you can do it. There's a link at the top of the chat. If you'll hit that, you can call in and be on camera, off camera. It doesn't matter, whichever you'd like to do. It's whatever you're comfortable with. It can be like a radio show, or it can be like a video Zoom call. Call in. You can share your thoughts, your opinions here live on the show for a little while we lead up to the basketball game tonight. 6-1 baseball. Thank you for the update there. Can Coach Hilliard pick up us a few ready to play wide receivers from the spring portal? So my question, Rob, would be, what makes you assume that they're not already there? There's this, and I'm not picking on you, but since you brought the topic up, I've seen this a lot. There's this assumption out there that simply because we didn't get some splash pickup that what we need is not already there. It's kind of the same thing with offensive line recruiting. I still think we should have and could have picked up a few more this cycle, but who says what we need is not already there on campus? I think there are a lot of potential athletes at Auburn that have the capability to become the guy at wide receiver, just that quote unquote, the guy. Camden Brown, I think, is one of those people that really like, if they can get whatever's going on with Javaris Johnson figured out. I can't even remember if they've gotten that whole situation figured out or not. But yeah, can he go get some guys out there? The recruiting cycle for 2022 is pretty much done. You might see one kind of sign or change their mind late or transfer in late, but we're pretty much set for the year outside of a few. You'll probably see more transfers out than you'll see transfers in. Look at quarterbacks, honestly. But that's kind of where I think about that. Thomas, thanks for being here, sir. Thank you. Rob says, stay healthy. Baseball could be a great season. I don't really know how to feel about baseball. By the way, I put out a poll here on the channel when you guys would like to do a post-game show, a post-series show, because we're not going to be able to do every single baseball game. I thought, after the weekend series would be the best time. Most of you guys said Monday nights, and a lot of you still said Sunday nights, but most of you said Monday. So if you have any thoughts about that here, you can share it if you'd like. Neil says he's excited about Hilliard because the guy understands the position. He played both college and NFL and has vast experience. That is a huge plus to have both of those experience. But I guess my one thing that I would counter, Neil, is most people have that. So I guess I'm thus far, not to say that you're not right, but I don't see anything that distinguishes him from everybody else to make me super excited about him. I'm excited to have him just because he completes our staff and because, I trust Coach Harsin to bring in the right guys and make the correct decisions later on if it's not working out. He's done that. By the way, can we all address the elephant in the room? Cornelius Williams, man. Why are you going to do that? I know we fired you, but it's like the understood rule. You don't go to the other side. You don't do that. He's apparently going to be an analyst at Rehab U, the Alabama Crimson Tide football program. Let's see here. Coach Harsin said, head over onto the local Walmart to pick up some O-line. So many big people shop. That's so bad, Neil. That's so bad. Funny story about this. When I was a student at Auburn, it was 2000. Back in my day, it was 2007, I believe, to 2011. Yes, I graduated in 2011, the championship year. I remember walking around in the Walmart right there off College Street, seeing Lee Zimba in overalls, no shirt, with the one strap hanging down. Looked like the stereotypical Arkansas boy because he was from Arkansas, long flowing hair and everything like that. And it was like the most perfect picture of what people think of stereotype as Walmart. And yet it was on us. It was really funny. Fly War Eagle said he's the director of player personnel. Who is Steven Rusick, who's going to be good for us with Georgia recruits. So, yeah, a lot of these, and they've been doing this a lot lately, sharing, this person's going to be this analyst, director of the vice president, the vice director of, all different positions. These can almost be considered sometimes honorary coaches, and they're part of the whole recruiting staff, right? So, yes, if that's someone that's going to be brought in to make inroads again into Georgia, that's a great thing. It's definitely something that you do not want to lose your hold on in terms of recruiting. Auburn's done very well over the years in Georgia, rightfully so, because they're within 30 minutes of the state line. But Florida as well, and then obviously Alabama. For a while, they were making Arkansas their little gold mine that they'd go pick the best out of there. Michael Dyer, Lee Zimba, Cody Burns, just to name a few. I feel like I'm missing a couple other big names there as well, but Texas as well. Thomas says that as much as I'm critical of the offensive line, I'm doing my absolute best to stay positive in the fact that we have a unicorn in terms of a multiple year starters returning. Fingers crossed. Thomas, I would be right there with you if these guys, and I don't mean as individuals, as a collective, had already gotten that together. There comes a point where you've had enough time to get it together, and it should have happened by now. Now, that being said, there will be a different combination of these guys, with some of them leaving. Maybe that's what fixes this thing. I don't know. To me, I think it's best for everybody, personally, to just expect very little out of the offensive line until they've proven that they can do it more consistently. That's just me. I think maybe that's because I've been burned too many times by it the last couple of seasons, but our offensive line has been in a bad way for a long time until I can see some steady improvement. Let me back up there and say they did improve a little bit in pass blocking this season, but we have to have a better run block. Have to. And I think Will Friend, our offensive line coach, has a great opportunity this season to not only live up to his name in terms of recruiting, but coaching as well. And if he can get this thing turned in the right direction, he's going to earn himself a lot of money from Auburn trying to keep him or others trying to go get him again. John, we did a video about this today. The kickoff time is 1 p.m. Central Time for 8A. I will be there. By the way, Booster Club members, I probably will be sharing a little bit of details about maybe some of my plans there. I'd like to maybe put together, I won't call it a get together, but like a meeting spot for some of us, just so we can come like put names to faces and all that kind of. I know y'all see my face, but I'd love to see some of y'all's in person at least. So if we can pull that off, just be paying attention for that in the Booster Club. He was the wide receiver coach for the Steelers. There's another plus in his column. I know many Florida alum that are jealous of Auburn hiring Hilliard. Now that I'm thinking on it, Neil, I do remember Hilliard's name a lot at Florida when he was playing there. So it's kind of one of those things. It's easy to assume someone's going to be a great coach if they, had a great playing career, if they've done both coaching and college and in the NFL and done both playing. I got to see it on the field, but I trust Coach Harsin. I'm not trying to say like I think he made the wrong hire or anything like that, because I didn't really know where to go outside of Javon Reed. But that's just kind of where I'm sitting on it right now. I think this is the year for me of wait and see, because I just need to do that for myself. Let's see. Yes, Auburn has potential wide receivers, I believe, and need a tier 1 receiver to lead them. Well, maybe they're on campus right now, and maybe they're going to rise to the occasion. Let's see here. If Mike Tomlin liked him, then that's all I need. It's fair. It's fair. Mike Tomlin's a pretty good, not decent, he's a pretty good coach. So I won't argue with that point. Linda, good to see you. Thanks for being here, checking in. Dusty says he's excited for several reasons about Ike NFL pedigree. He can teach the ins and outs of wide receiver. If he wants to recruit, he could be good at it. Several wide receivers from Pitt Steelers improved under him. And see, that's the kind of stuff maybe that Neil and others are trying to say is, and I'm just not aware of that, is seeing improvement under the Pittsburgh wide receivers. I am not a humongous NFL fan. I follow the Auburn players, and that's about it these days. So that's kind of why I wouldn't be aware of that. Dusty, yes. You need to make sure everybody, if you haven't checked out the podcast I did with Dusty about the hockey team, you need to. And I'll tell you this much. They were very happy with it. I was very pleased some of the response that we got about it. And time and time again, our audience, our little family within the Auburn family here, continues to express their support for doing things for some of the smaller programs. And I don't mean smaller as in importance, but just what gets the attentions. And it's a club team, right? It's not a NCAA sanctioned team. Or sanction's not the right word. I always say that. Endorsed team. They have to put together their own funding and things like that. But you keep showing the support for that type of stuff. We'll keep doing it. I'm just praying for the miracle in the O-line now. Harsin and staff are recruiting the offensive line hard. I do hope so. This is the year for it. It has to get done, right? It really, really has to. Neil says it's March. Time flies. Spring football just around the corner. Also, beware the Ides of March. Yes, I would agree with that. Time does fly. February is always a short month, but it was busy. We were having so much fun with basketball this month. It went up and turned around. I went away for a week on vacation. Everything fell apart, but I also had a good rest as well. It just time flies in general these days. But before you know it, we're going to be talking about, I get about like a month and a half of like somewhat calmness in everything that I do when you cover Auburn sports so heavily in the summer, and then it's just going to be ramped by end of July. I'm going to be right back at it. Let's see here. I'm trying to back down. I'm a little behind on chat. Let's see here. Ike Hilliard. It was one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen. I remember him from UF in the mid-90s with Danny Werfel. My goodness, that team was amazing. They were. Was it called the Fun and Gun offense? Isn't that what it was called? We need a Cody Burns type to lead the receivers. Cedric has a great opportunity to be the leader this year. I 100% agree with that. I think Shed has a unique opportunity to seize that type of role. Maybe not be the guy, the guy that everybody looks to. You got to cover him, put double coverage on him. But he has the capability to be reliable and make a big catch when it counts. He's already proven that this season, right? Seen him do that several times. A little bit more consistency would help. I think it was a wise decision for him to come back for 1 year. And I think it's a wise decision for Auburn as well, because they're going to need a little bit of leadership for a very, very, very young group. Let's see here. Kyle, just don't do a stream on golf. It's funny, Corey, that you say that. I've often, when I'm sitting here in the lair, thinking about how we're going to continue to expand and how we're going to do things for certain other sports. And we experiment with things at times. I always look at golf and I'm like, how am I going to pull that one off? I would love to. Actually, I believe there is a golf match in Auburn this weekend, and I am right now planning to head to Auburn because I think the new name for the arena is going to be unveiled on Friday, I think. Going to try to attend that if it's open to the public and live stream it for y'all. We'll see, though, because I don't know the details of that yet. but I had a hunch that I might need to like wait around because I think it starts Sunday and go out there and just be like, can I just come like wander around and walk around with you guys and see what you're up to? Um, but yeah, I don't know that we'll be doing a stream on golf, but I do believe that if we're going to preach the mantra that everything in Auburn is of value, that we're everything school, we need to try to do that to the best of our ability without, uh, you know, forcing it on people, which is why we take the opportunity to talk about things like hockey when we get the chance to. Thomas says the spring transfer portal scares me. Might win, might lose. I get what you mean there. I would prepare yourself for some people to leave, especially quarterbacks. He could, we could see one, maybe two. Traditionally, you really only need 3 scholarship in my mind for you to feel good about your situation at quarterback. It's rare that one goes down, much less 2. So you want to have 3 solid ones. So, let's just play hypothetical here. Let's just say that Zach Calzada, I think this is probably not a revelation. Anybody wins the job. TJ might stay simply because he's already used that transfer year, I believe. That might force Demetrius Davis somewhere else. And then that would make Holden Gurner behind him and then Robbie Ashford. I think that's plenty. So you're probably going to see somebody go. Yes, I was very happy for Cody Burns. He got a promotion to the Titans. I can't remember which one it was. He's a rising star in coaching. He's a lot of people were neglectful of a difference that he made for us when he was a player, but also a coach. Really interested to see how our quarterbacks play. I saw the TJ Finley interview. Looking forward to that. Their interview with Robbie Ashford was good. Yeah, I think Miss Ashford, his mother, has been very active on social media. Not just about her son, just wanting to be involved with the family and stuff like that. It's good to see that. Social media has let us have more opportunities to interact with players, parents, coaches, even. It's crazy that we often get interactions with some of the coaches of not football, basketball, and things like that, but some of the smaller programs just saying thank you for covering something or things like that. The Auburn Tip-Off Club sent 98 students to the games tonight. Well done, Tip-Off Club. Well done. I wish I was still a student so I could be a part of that busload. Why 98 though? What happened to the other 2? We need to make it 100. It sounds better, right? Is it true TJ posted a picture of him speeding? I don't know about that. Let's see here. The Saints, thank you. That's who it was. I remember that. TJ is getting first team reps in spring. Calzada, as you spelled it, is getting second team reps. Well, and frankly, this shouldn't be a shock to you because as I've done a video about this, kind of breaking down my thoughts in the quarterback race at the start of like the year. We'll do another one after spring practice is done, kind of updating that because I think that'll give us a good perspective of where things stand. But I think it's obvious that TJ should get first team reps until he loses them. He stepped in a tough situation. Did he perform super well? No. Would most people perform well in that situation? Probably not. So I think he deserves a legitimate chance to prove where everybody's healthy, that he can get the job done. That doesn't mean that he wins the job outright. He has to do it in practice. And if he does that and Coach Harsin says he's the guy, we need to trust that and get behind him. The bus size, but it seems odd that a bus size would be like 98's the cutoff. That's it. No more, no less. That's all we can fit in there. Speaking of those buses, a lot of people are going to be planning to go down to New Orleans if Auburn does make the Final Four. I'm knocking on wood. Everybody calm down. I have tried to think through what are my plans going to be because I've had money saved up for personally for moments like this because I've missed out on the national championship in Pasadena. I've missed out on the Minneapolis Final Four run where I could have gone. This one's much easier. This is just drive from where I am, even though it's a long, long drive. Just drive down there, find you a hotel, and go. I hope we're going to make it down there so I can take part in that because I'd love to do some stuff down there for you guys. Fun fact, the E2C Network crew, myself and a lot of the podcasters went down as a group to the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma in 2017, I think it was. 17, 16, so one of those. One where we lost and did a little bit of stuff down there. We actually worked with the New Orleans Auburn Club, and they hosted like a Auburn alumni night at this like bowling alley, and we did a little appearance there as well. Who's all going to Tampa? I was just down in Florida, and I'll be back there later this year, so I can't make another trip down unless someone wants to pay me to go down there. That would be great. If someone wants to pay for me to go down there, I would go down there to Tampa in a heartbeat and go to every single game, even the non-Auburn ones, because it would be fun. I'm ready as well. I think we're all ready for a little bit of something to take that taste out of our mouth from Saturday's game. It's been rough, right? We got used to winning so much this season. Now to take a pattern of losses has been not fun at all. He posted a pic of him driving 100. TJ, that is not off the field leadership, my buddy. If that's true, let's be safe out there. I know we've got a plethora of quarterback talent, but let's not take risks that we don't need to take. A&M is up on Bama in the second half. That shouldn't surprise you. Alabama has been spotty at best this season in basketball. They have shown the ability to beat the best. Gonzaga, they almost beat us. Who else? They did Kentucky one time too, right? But they're so inconsistent. So inconsistent. You really just don't know what to make of them outside of they have the ability to beat some good teams, but they can't do it consistently. I believe they're still slated to make the NCAA tournament. So I think, right, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but we've got Auburn, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and LSU. Is that everybody from the SEC that we're expecting to be there? I know South Carolina kind of surged a little bit for a time there, but I think that's everybody. Andy said that there are a ton of Auburn fans there. Awesome. Glad to see it. Anybody look at what the tickets were today for how much they were going for? If I lived in Alabama, I'd probably make some trips over to Mississippi a few times, but it's still a little bit of a drive for me on a weeknight. Bama also beat Baylor. Great point. I don't want to take things away from what they have accomplished, but they've just been so inconsistent. Auburn, while you could probably make a case the last 6 games, there's been a little inconsistency. It's always been on the road where we've struggled and where we've lost, which would make sense for most teams, right? But if you're the best team in the land, that shouldn't affect you as much, which is why they're no longer the best team in the land. They did not beat Kentucky. Thank you for the clarification. Can I stay with your family, Neil? I really, if I hadn't just been to Central Florida, I probably would have made the journey down there and wouldn't be going back there soon as well. I'd probably be going down there because there's other things down there you can do as well. Just went to New Orleans in 2014, went to the Sugar Bowl. I have an excuse why. My sister was a part of some high school cheerleading thing at halftime, got to see Oklahoma beat Alabama by 14. I remember that one. That was a good one, right? Anytime you can watch Alabama have their dreams and hopes dashed, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. 7-1, top of the third. It's what you like to see. One of the good things that we've seen early in this season for Auburn baseball is them taking care of business in the midweek games. To me, it's always felt like there's been a struggle with some of these teams in the midweek, and there are reasons for that, right? Usually using a lot of your pitchers. that you don't use or you're saving for the weekends during that time, or using your dominant pitchers less, at least to that degree. So there's some reasons for that. But so far we've been taking care of business. If you can stomach staying with UGA UF snob, sure. So here's the funny thing. So I left for my vacation the day of the Florida Auburn basketball game and the loss. I got into Gainesville about the time the loss happened, and we stopped there for dinner. And some of those looks I was getting, it was like they wanted to trash talk, but they knew they had probably gotten lucky, and they didn't have the record this season to really say much to it other than you won this game. So it was pretty entertaining to roll through Gainesville, see a lot of Gator fans, and then see my hat and my shirt that I was wearing and be like, better not. Just enjoy it within ourselves. But yes, they can be quite annoying, can't they? I want to thank you for visiting Florida but not moving. We love your tourism. However, we are running out of space. Dusty, we have, well, I shouldn't say I have always toyed with moving to Florida, various parts of Florida, long before it was popular. Got too much family in Alabama, and as far away as where we live in Georgia is, it's further, and it would be further in Florida, although it'd be closer to the beaches where I want to be. If I hadn't married Jessica, I've always told her this, I would have been a beach bum in Gulf Shores or Orange Beach, Alabama. That is what I would have done, because I love me some beach down there. All right, I know it's a little bit of a slow night. There's a lot going on tonight, but if you do want to call in, please take advantage of the link up there. You can call in if you'd like, say hello to the folks here, and be part of the show. Linda's heading out for a bit, and you definitely don't want to move here. Dang, Linda. Well, good to have you here on the stream tonight. Hopefully we'll see you after the game too. I always lock my doors when I drive through Gainesville. That's funny. Other than being full of Gator fans, it's fine. I had few complaints with it. An excessive amount of jorts. That's about it. There are worse things to deal with. He could live in Tuscaloosa. Billy Donovan Court is cursed. Don't know what we did to deserve how some of our games have ended there. It does feel like we've had a very rough go of it in Billy Donovan Court. I'd say probably the same thing used to be true in football over at Razorback Stadium. But yeah. Hold on. Is this true? Ukraine in the house? War Eagle? Are you actually in Ukraine right now? If that's the case, prayers up for you, sir. I mean, goodness gracious. Jorts in Gainesville, unreal. Dusty, it's so weird going to Gainesville as and look, I know that fans come to Auburn and see things that we do, we say, we take part in. The whole toilet paper thing, I'm sure, is just as crazy to them. But just I cannot wrap my mind around what makes a college fan and a college student want to wear jorts out of nothing other than being ridiculous. Look, I put on a Spider-Man outfit for a Halloween party that I should have never worn, was ripping at the sides, and I'm bigger now than I was then, but I still wasn't skinny. And that was a poor decision. But that was nowhere near the decision to wear jorts and be serious about it. Unbeaten Lake, we've beaten LSU and Baton Rouge 3 times since the last time we beat Florida in Gainesville. So do you think there's somehow correlated there? Some of those little things, patterns that you find, that they get really eerie sometimes when you look at them. It's weird. We got it. There's very few curses, streaks, bad ones that Coach Pearl hasn't put away as a Tiger fan, but I'm sure there are plenty still out there. So I guess you are in Ukraine. Well, prayers for you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. And yeah, man, I can't imagine what you're going through out there. Oh, wow, I got to put that one up there. Putin pulls for Bama. Oh, probably not wrong. All right, Devin. Okay, look, I know we didn't want to make this the Jorts show, but Devin, I got to be honest, it has been fun educating you on some of the things. And I don't mean that in the sense, and I know you probably know I don't mean this like that you're uneducated or something like that, but I know that you're kind of getting more involved in social media and stuff this year. So jorts are jean shorts. It's like combining the two. And for some reason, Florida fans love the heck out of them, especially the guys. And it's not even like nice jean shorts where they're like meant to be worn like that. These are jorts. These are short jeans that have been cut and at frayed edges to be worn as like game day attire. It's the weirdest things. Weird. Just absolutely odd. And Tim Tebow introduced the world to jorts. Oh, goodness. Just change the title of this live stream to the one about jorts, because that's all we've talked about tonight. We can keep talking about that, but I want to kind of bring it back to the title of our live stream, talking about the football coaching staff. Your guy, all of y'all's thoughts on it. We've kind of addressed Ike Hilliard. Christian Robinson was brought in from Florida, I believe, or at least a one-time Florida coach as linebackers. Schmedding was moved to defensive coordinator. You know, how is everybody feeling overall about the staff right now? I will be honest with you. Tomorrow, I'm glad I said this to myself. I have it on my calendar. I will be making an appearance again on the Voice of College Football, another YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about the Auburn offense. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. I'd be interested if you guys have any thoughts that you want me to share for you on that. All right, we got a caller in. Let's say hello to him. You asked for him. Here he is, Mr. Dusty. What's up, sir?
I'm watching the baseball work, UAB, man. Wonder what Bill Clark's got to say about that.
Bill Clark can go kiss a duck. I'm kidding. I'm kissing. No, I have no qualms with Bill Clark other than he's a Bama boy. But I know there were some rumors that he was going to be, you know, a candidate for coach for us for a long time. But, you know, if we can send him a little message via baseball, I'm all good with that.
I just thought it was interesting how he handled it.
It was interesting is the nice way of putting it. Yeah, I probably should not go further into that. Don't get me started on that one. I never, to be honest, like there's this like idea out there that he's the next big thing in coaching, and I didn't really like see that. And I'm not saying he's not going to be, but I just didn't want that for Auburn. To be honest, I wanted somebody that was more established. Now, was Coach Harsin more established? Maybe. But hey, that's not a conversation that's even worth having at this point. That's just me kind of spitting off at the mouth here. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I'm pretty excited about Ike Hilliard, and I just, we've like beat the horse dead, and then buried it, and then drug it back up and beat it again. But they are really, they're really going after the offensive line. I mean, you see it every day if you follow it. And by the way, keep putting out the recruiting videos, buddy. I like them.
Oh,
So I'm excited about that. And I know you played basketball. I played some in high school, and I'm gonna watch tonight because I'm the kind of person where it's like, if both teams are playing on a crappy field, both teams are playing on a crappy field. If both teams are shooting with a bad basketball, both teams are shooting with a bad basketball. If we go on the road tonight and shoot well, I say score over 80 points, I'm going to kind of buy into that because, if they don't like the way the Nike ball feels, then they don't like the way it feels. Like, it has an effect and it doesn't. It's kind of a soft thing to say, but like, man, if you don't like the ball, it does kind of affect it. So I'll be interested to see that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very minute thing to kind of say factors into, but it does. I mean, because it's not even a brand thing. It's just, each basketball's got a different feel. Like I was actually playing basketball last night, just with some friends, and there was this one ball that's a lot slicker, and so when you're as a shooter receiving that ball, it's much harder to get it rotated the way you want it as you're bringing it up and get the grip on it, as opposed to one that's got a little bit less wear on it and it's got that, and the ones they're using, it's not necessarily a grip thing. It's just the way it feels and stuff like that. But to me, though, The ball thing is less of a factor than sight lines. And you see a lot of the time teams complaining that they weren't given enough time pregame to go out there and shoot and get the sight lines down, which is why Coach Pearl this season scheduled a game down in Tampa with South Florida so they could, because that's where the SEC championship is going to be, so they could go ahead and see it, have it in their minds. Yeah. It's not foreign concept to them. It seems like such a minute detail, but when you're talking about scoring, shooting struggles on the road, to me, it's less about the ball and more about the sight lines. And that's just me, though. I mean, there's probably many reasons for that. I mean, heck, you're playing on the road in a hostile, SEC environment. That enough is and everybody wants to beat you. Auburn hasn't been in this position forever where people are dying to be. I mean, well, according to Kentucky, everybody's camping out for them, even if they're not there. But so do you think it gets better tonight? Do you think we're going to shoot better?
Here's the thing, man. So Kentucky's undefeated at home, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We're undefeated at home. Tennessee's undefeated at home. I'm pretty sure that LSU's 14-2 at home, maybe 15-1, and I know that Mississippi State's 14-2. And then there's Arkansas in there too. I believe they're undefeated at home, or they have one home loss, I believe, but they're undefeated in the conference play. It's just really hard to win. I believe that the SEC is the toughest conference overall this year. So it's tough. I mean, like I said, they're 14-2. The hump's always a tough place to play.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, about all four of our losses, if you look at it, there's not a game where we've played bad defense. I can't look back at one where we played a bad defensive game. And we don't even have really too many long stretches where we play bad defense. That's why I'm so confident about how far this team is going to go. We're just going to be in every game. And like you say about the sight lines, that's the thing. So, like, when you play in high school, you usually just have the stands on the side.
Yep.
And then, you might go to like the playoffs or go to a bigger district tournament or something. And then all of a sudden you're in a bigger gym where you've got seats behind the goal. Yep. And it's just, that is a thing. So, and then the ball is a thing too. Like sometimes you just have a ball that you just hate. So I'm really going to be interested in that tonight. For me, it's going to be about what Wendell Green shows up and what Katie Johnson shows up. I'm so confident in those guys. Like, I know they can get it done. They still are completely engaged on the defensive end, so they're not slumping. I know after one of the games where Katie struggled, he stayed right after the game and got shots up, and I thought he played a lot better offensively the other night. So my main thing is, these last two games was just make sure we stay healthy, and I'm just not really that worried, man. I'm just not. Yeah. I think everything is fine.
See, that's the thing about basketball is you have a higher chance to take care of things on the court or field if we're using comparisons here. When you only have 12 games in a football season, regular season, one mistake on a game can ruin your whole season. It really can. A couple mistakes in basketball with a conference tournament and then a national tournament, you've got time to get it figured out. You've got opportunities to make mistakes and learn from them. You have to make those much quicker and figure those things out much quicker in things like football, things of that nature. So I agree. I don't find a lot to be worried about at this point. I'd much rather be seeing this happen right now rather than postseason. Corey asked a good question. Will Auburn win the SEC outright? What say you?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. I think we might lose one more game the rest of the year. And I believe that will probably be somewhere in the SEC tournament. I think we'll win a game or two in the SEC tournament. We'll run into somebody tough like Arkansas, Kentucky. Maybe we'll run into LSU. Like, let's say we run into Bama. It'll be tough to beat them 3 times in a row, as much as I hate to say that. But something like that. And then I think that'll be the last game that we lose all year. So
I also feel that there's a loss coming in the SEC tournament. I hope it's not game 1 for us, which would be in the quarterfinals, because right now I think we are still solidified, even if we were to lose the last 2 regular games, to get the bye that the first 2 seeds get in the SEC tournament. So my hope is that we make it to the semifinals at the very least. And 'cause I think we need that to secure our spot as a number one. And here's the great thing. Last night, Kansas lost. So, we technically, by virtue of just thinking about it, we've earned back the number one seed, even being listed at number 5. Do you think we're going to keep a number one seed?
No, I don't. And
You don't?
It's not an Auburn thing, Kyle. Let's just say we lose again close tonight. Let's say we lose a close game tonight, and then we beat South Carolina on Saturday, and then we make a deep run in the SEC tournament. But we still lose in it. Say we lose in the semi like you're talking about. So that's 2 more losses? No. And it's not that I don't think we deserve it. It's just I know how they're going to do us. Like I already know what it is. I already expect us to get thrown in the toughest bracket. I already expect just all kind of chicanery. I'm expecting the bad officiating to amp up a little bit.
Right.
So I'm just ready for that. Somebody, I can't remember what podcast it was I was listening to, but they made the comment about whoever runs into Duke in the tournament is playing the referees the whole time because it's Coach K.
That one
flat. You know what I mean? So it's just
that one too.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like that. But I also think that this team, like the body of work speaks for itself. We've played enough games that the sample size is there. Four like extremely close losses. The worst one of those is to Florida, in arena that we just can't get it done in for some reason. It's eerily similar to the Baton Rouge dealing with football, and it's just going to take. I honestly think it's going to take a buzzer beater or something to break it.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Neil. I'm still we played them in that in the year we went to the Final Four, when we played them in that Bahamas tournament or whatever, and they shot 39 free throws to our 7, and I knew it going into the game, but we had never played Duke, so I never experienced it from that kind of perspective,
right?
And that was just wild, but whatever.
Listen, I hate Duke as much as the next person, but my gosh, I respect Coach K. And I hate that basketball is going to be done with him after this point. It doesn't feel right to me to not know that he's not over there in North Carolina, always ready to pounce and still be a dominant force. I'll tell you another thing. You don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. And you also don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaces the guy. The person who takes up that job, Lord help you. My goodness.
Now, I will say this to your point. Let's say we win the SEC tournament, then if they don't put us as a 1 seed, that would be ridiculous. But I feel like I said, I feel like we're going to lose somewhere in the tournament, and I feel like they'll just put us as a 2. But I think we win tonight, and I think we win Saturday.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I loved your point earlier about, you just know that that's going to count against us. But I don't even think it's an Auburn thing. When the pollsters do not punish Gonzaga at all, I think they should have dropped back to 3, in my opinion. But you didn't even drop them back to 2, and they hardly lost any first-place votes. What is this? I mean, St. Mary's is a great program. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that's it. That's their only competition. Pacific sometimes comes out of there. Somebody else, Santa Barbara, sometimes comes out of there. If that's even the same league, it's always those California schools. But they have no competition, very, very rarely in their conference. And when they lose one, that should matter into it. When Auburn's in the SEC, arguably the best conference in college basketball this year, at least when you look at them as in their top group of 4, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. There's going to be very few conferences that can top that. And Auburn has to play each one of those. And it has lost to Tennessee, has beat Kentucky, and has lost to Arkansas. That's tough to do, man.
Yeah.
I'll take it where my only game I'm worried about is St. Mary's in conference play.
To me, it's pretty obvious. I feel like everyone knows the SEC's got football on lock. Everyone knows what it is with baseball. I mean, my goodness, at baseball. And now it's basketball, and it's just, I feel like it just infuriates these. It's got to infuriate them because all of a sudden the blue bloods, the LSU or football, the LSUs, the Auburns, and all this, now they're taking over your beloved basketball. But the thing is, now the SEC cares, and like they got to understand that now that the SEC cares about basketball, you're not going to be able to reverse it. It's already it's over with. Like the days of the ACC and all these Big Ten, y'all haven't, like, y'all are still really good. You're going to have your teams, but the SEC is only going to get better, and it's not going to change.
And it only took Bruce Pearl and Auburn making it relevant for it to happen. Hey, look at the celebration right here below, folks. Alabama just lost at home by 16.
Yeah.
The A&M. You don't lose to A&M at home. That doesn't happen this season. A&M is usually a good program. Buzz Williams is a great coach. You don't lose to A&M at home this season. Shame.
I bet JD Davison had the coolest 6-point highlights. He probably.
You got me on that one. Oh, goodness gracious. Thomas, this is a great reminder here. Everybody needs to get ready for this basketball game. So, Dusty, we're going to sign off. Thank you for calling in tonight, man. That was a good one.
Baseball's up 10-1, and now basketball's about to get it done. It's a great night to be an Auburn Tiger. War Eagle, everybody.
All right, War Eagle, man. All right, great call from Dusty as always to get us kind of rounded out tonight. Again, we're going live after the show, or excuse me, after the show, but after the basketball game. I know it's late. I know you can't, but I hope you can stop by or go watch the replay. We'll talk about what happened. We'll talk about the stats, all of that good stuff there. Hope you can be there. Good to be back in the saddle on Wednesday nights with you all, and be looking out because we're thinking we're going to start a baseball regular show, maybe Monday nights. Still thinking through that, but stay tuned for that. Check out all the links in the description and check out ways that you can help support here by becoming a channel member. You can become a part of the Booster Club. Thank you to so many of you that have been here tonight that are already a part of that and helping support our content. And then also make sure that we see you on the live stream after this if you can be there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the game.